It's 6 p.m. on a Tuesday here in Korea. Welcome to our newscast. I'm Daniel Che. Let us begin with the headlines. North Korea has reportedly planted landmines near the inter-Korean border in the recent months in what officials in Seoul say is not only a violation but could be meant to keep its own troops from defecting. The Japanese Foreign Ministry uploads remarks by a top politician describing the Korean victims of Japan's wartime sex slavery as prostitutes. Seoul condemns the statement, reminding Japan to respect the historical record. Authorities in Turkey backtrack on initial statements that last weekend's suicide bombing at a wedding was carried out by a child. The Prime Minister says that can't be determined yet. North Korea is planting more landmines near the inter-Korean border area of Panmunjeom. It's possibly in fear of soldiers attempting to flee to the south after listening to Seoul's loudspeaker broadcast of the latest defections. Connie Kim has our top story.
North Korea has reportedly planted anti-personnel mines on the inter-Korean border to prevent its soldiers from defecting to the south. Citing an unnamed government source, Seoul-based Yonhap News Agency reported on Tuesday that there were signs several mines were planted near the so-called Bridge of No Return. The bridge is located in the truce village of Panmunjeom, which spans the military demarcation line between the two Koreas, and was a site of a prisoner exchange that followed the armistice ending the hostilities in the Korean War in 1953. Under the agreement, landmines cannot be planted and border guards cannot be armed in the area around Panmunjeom. This is the first time soldiers have been seen planting landmines in the area since the armistice was signed. A South Korean military official said he believes North Korea's actions are part of efforts to prevent soldiers on the front line from fleeing to the south. A different South Korean government official said North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is likely concerned that the soldiers will be influenced by South Korea's latest round of loudspeaker broadcasts. The latest broadcasts include news of recent high-profile defections, including the deputy ambassador to Britain and a group of North Korean restaurant workers. The United Nations command said it is aware of North Korea's activities in the vicinity of the bridge, but would not speculate as to why the North Korean People's Army is planting the mines. However, it also said it strongly condemns any actions that jeopardize the safety of all personnel in the demilitarized zone. Connie Kim, Arirang News.
North Korea may have enough plutonium to make up to 4 more nuclear weapons. The basis for this conclusion, Pyongyang's recent nuclear activity and the claims by the regime itself. Kwon So-hwa shares with us the analysis by the Institute for Science and International Security.
Concerns that Pyongyang could be readying itself for a 5th nuclear test are growing, as North Korea appears to have obtained more weapons-grade plutonium. The U.S.-based Institute for Science and International Security said in a report that North Korea has managed to produce between 5.5 to 8 kilograms of plutonium by reprocessing nuclear fuel from its main reactor at its Yongbyon nuclear facility. That amount of plutonium could be used to make between 2 to 4 nuclear weapons when taking into account that 2 to 4 kilograms of plutonium is used in a single warhead. If the North stock of weapons-grade uranium is included, the institute believes Pyongyang has enough material to make between 13 to 21 nuclear weapons, according to estimates up to this summer. The think tank's report is in line with a report from the International Atomic Energy Agency on Friday, outlining its latest assertion that North Korea had resumed its reprocessing activities. That report just came a day after Pyongyang confirmed it has resumed its production of weapons-grade plutonium through its Atomic Energy Institute. Making note of the ISIS and IAEA's assessment, South Korea's foreign ministry said Tuesday it strongly condemns North Korea's nuclear development.
Any activity related to North Korea's nuclear program, including reprocessing, violates UN Security Council resolutions. The government once again strongly urges North Korea to immediately halt its nuclear development.
The Foreign Ministry spokesperson said the issue is sure to be discussed at the upcoming trilateral foreign ministers meeting between South Korea, Japan, and China in Tokyo on Wednesday, as Pyongyang's nuclear and missile threats are expected to be high on the agenda. Kwon So-hwa, Arirang News.
The Japanese Foreign Ministry caused an uproar last weekend by publishing controversial remarks regarding Korean victims of Japan's wartime sex slavery. Kim Jong-soo fills us in on the Korean government's response to the act that distorts history and backtracks on efforts to heal wounds of the past.
The Korean government has issued an official response to claims by a Japanese politician distorting the history of Japan's wartime sexual enslavement of Korean women. On Saturday, the Japanese Foreign Ministry website uploaded a statement by Deputy Minister Shinsuke Sugiyama, who argued, contrary to common belief, that Korean women willingly volunteered sexual services during World War II. The remarks were made back in February, when Deputy Minister Sugiyama told a UN Special Committee that the, quote, forceful taking away of Korean women is not supported by any historical evidence. Sugiyama even claimed the term sex slaves is counterfactual, implying the victims were prostitutes. In response, Korean Foreign Ministry spokesman Cho Jun-hyuk said Tuesday that victims of sex slavery had clearly been coerced, and emphasized that the historical veracity of those events has been confirmed by the international community at large. Cho said the Japanese government should not try to change the past, but rather build from it in the best possible way.
We hope our Japanese counterparts can cooperate with the Korean government in addressing the traumatic past and build a path towards a future that can restore and heal the dignity of the victims.
One such ongoing effort is the setting up of a Korean foundation late last year to help the survivors of sexual slavery, with Japan offering yen 1 billion, or about $10 million in funding. Kim Jung-soo, Arirang News.
Meanwhile, South Korea's rival parties are wrangling over the dual issue of a proposed budget supplement and parliamentary hearings on the fiscal policy decision that later made the budget necessary. The debate has put Parliament at a standstill. Here's our Park Ji-won with more.
The ruling Saenuri Party reiterated Tuesday that it wants the budget bill passed as soon as possible so the budget can have the maximum effect on the economy in the second half of the year.
Our predecessor, the Grand National Party, never stopped the passage of a supplementary budget bill when the opposition was the ruling party during the Kim Dae-jung and Roh Moo-hyun administrations. The 20th National Assembly, which should be serving the public's desire for a productive parliament, should not be doing this.
The main opposition Minju Party is firm in its stance that it cannot approve the budget until the ruling party agrees to call key economic policymakers, including former Finance Minister Choi Kyung-hwan, to 2 parliamentary hearings on the fiscal policy decisions that later made the budget supplement necessary. Those decisions, allegedly made at a secret meeting last year, involved injecting $3.8 billion in state funds to prevent the already ailing Daewoo Shipbuilding and Marine Engineering from becoming insolvent. On Tuesday, opposition lawmakers in the 2 standing committees in charge of the hearings called on the ruling party to compromise on the witness list.
We're not aiming to put anyone to shame. The hearings are designed to diagnose the shipbuilding industry's insolvency and prevent another failure. Only then can the supplementary budget be executed meaningfully.
The People's Party agreed the hearing should be used to review the decision-making process so that taxpayer money won't ever be wasted again.
The government has so far injected some $10 billion into Daewoo Shipbuilding and Marine Engineering, but we're wondering whether the company won't follow in the footsteps of STX Shipbuilding, which was put under court receivership. There is a growing risk of privatizing profits while socializing losses.
Despite the ongoing debate between the parties, lawmakers here say they'd like to see a breakthrough by the end of the week in order to take advantage of what is regarded as the best time to implement the budget supplement. Park Ji-won, Arirang News.
A special investigation team to look into a string of allegations surrounding a top presidential aide is to be formed. According to the Supreme Prosecutor's Office, the series of allegations involving the 2 top government officials needed a prompt and thorough investigation, making this an unprecedented case where 2 high-profile figures will be looked into simultaneously. Woo Byung-woo, the senior presidential secretary for civil affairs, was under a probe headed by Special Inspector Lee Seok-soo over power abuse and embezzlement allegations. Woo refuses to budge despite calls for his resignation. He is under fire for allegedly leaking information of Woo's ongoing case to the media, an action that, if verified, is punishable with up to 5 years in prison. Prosecutors are edging closer to answers in an ongoing investigation into allegations of slush funds and business irregularities by Korea's fifth largest conglomerate, Lotte Group. They now plan to summon a top executive of the group's control tower. Kim Min-ji gives us an update.
Seoul prosecutors will summon a top executive at Lotte Group's control tower this coming Thursday. Hwang Gak-gyu, the head of the group's policy coordination bureau, is known as one of the closest aides to Lotte Group chairman Shin Dong-bin. Prosecutors plan to question Hwang on allegations the group amassed slush funds, as well as charges of embezzlement, tax evasion, and illegal internal transactions. This builds on the probe into the group launched in June, with prosecutors having already called key executives of the group's business arms in for questioning on the allegations. The focal point of the investigation has been on Lotte Chemical, also known as the group's biggest earner. The company is suspected of using another Lotte arm in Japan and inflating prices during transactions, and then transferring those funds back to the Japanese unit or creating slush funds. Two of the group's resorts are also under investigation, as the land was purchased for tens of billions of dollars, but Hotel Lotte bought the facilities for much less in an M&A deal. On top of that, Lotte Group founder Shin Gyuk-ho is suspected of dodging taxes worth roughly $540 million. Prosecutors plan to bring in more close aides for questioning later in the week. Kim Min-ji, Arirang News.
In other parts of our world, initially Turkey announced a child suicide bomber used in the latest terror attack in the nation. And now the country's prime minister says it's too early to determine that. Kim Mo-kyun has more on the conflicting report.
Speaking to reporters in Ankara, Prime Minister Binali Yildirim said the authorities are not in a position to verify anything about the perpetrator, if it was a child, an adult, or for which organization.
Regarding the attack, of course, this is a big blast. We could not find clues regarding the perpetrator yet. This is just a guess based on the testimonies of eyewitnesses. Otherwise, it's not appropriate to make early assumptions about who carried out this attack and which organization did it.
His comments are an apparent backtracking of the identity of the suspect, as President Recep Tayyip Erdogan announced on Sunday that the bomber was likely a child between the ages 12 and 14 and was linked to the Islamic State group. At least 54 people, including 22 children, were killed on Saturday after a suicide bomber attacked a Kurdish wedding in Turkey's southeastern city of Gaziantep. Turkey's Dogan news agency reports that 66 people are being treated in hospital, 14 of whom are in critical condition. In a speech Monday, Turkey's Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu vowed that the country will provide the necessary support to cleanse ISIS from Turkey's border with Syria. He also said Turkey has withdrawn its ambassador to Vienna as he accused Austria of supporting the Kurdistan Workers' Party, a militant organization which is attacking Turkey. Though the identity of the suspect in Turkey is yet to be confirmed, a 14-year-old would-be suicide bomber was apprehended in Iraq on Sunday, just a few seconds before he was able to detonate his explosive belt. The latest incidents are spurring international concern over the use of children in acts of terror. Kim Mo-kyun, Arirang News.
A powerful typhoon made landfall in Tokyo on Monday, killing at least one and injuring over 60 people. Thousands have been warned to evacuate and planes have been grounded. For details, let's turn to our Iji-won.
Japan was lashed by strong winds and heavy rainfall as Typhoon Mindulle landed at around noon on Monday. The typhoon, the ninth to hit Japan this year, made landfall in Tokyo and then moved north through the Tohoku region. Along the way, it swept through the cities of Ome and Iruma, which saw record rainfall of about 100 millimeters per hour and winds of up to 180 kilometers per hour, prompting Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's office to issue a landslide warning. In Kanagawa Prefecture, a 58-year-old woman was seriously injured and later died in hospital. Swelling rivers and mudslides damaged houses and other facilities in the typhoon's wake. So far, 850,000 people have been told to evacuate.
If the windows are broken, the wind will get in and lift the roof away, so we are worried about that.
The typhoon also shut down railroads and the control tower at Narita International Airport, resulting in the cancellation of more than 500 flights.
I came here before 9 a.m., so I've been waiting here for about 3 hours.
It's been cancelled and nothing has been scheduled.
The Japan Meteorological Agency expects up to 200 millimeters of rainfall for Hokkaido, Japan's northernmost island, by Tuesday evening. And with another typhoon, Lion Rock, expected to arrive by Thursday, Japan remains on high alert. Lee Ji-won, Arirang News.
Korean golfer Park Inbee, who won Olympic gold for the nation despite suffering from injuries, was mobbed by fans, reporters, and her family as she landed in home soil. Hwang Woo-jun takes us to Incheon International Airport.
Korea's newly crowned Olympic golf champion Park Inbee is back on home soil after her gold medal-winning performance in Rio. The 24-hour-plus flight was not enough to dampen Park's emotion of doing her country so proud.
This was probably the first time I've competed for my country rather than my own personal glory. When I heard the national anthem on the 18th hole, it was without a doubt the best music I've ever heard in my life.
Reporters and photographers swarmed the arrivals gate, determined to get a view of the triumphant champion. Among the crowd was Park's grandfather, who was shedding tears of joy and pride.
My granddaughter has become the daughter of Korea. I couldn't be happier.
Park was originally scheduled to return with the rest of the national team on Wednesday, but the thumb injury she has been battling all year prompted her to leave Rio a day earlier than originally planned. The 28-year-old, dubbed the Empress of Golf in Korea, has now accomplished what's being called a career Golden Slam, winning 7 majors and an Olympic gold. The medal carries extra significance as golf returned to the Olympics this year after an absence of 116 years. And this might not be the end of the golden story, as Park also said she's willing to compete again in the 2020 Tokyo Olympics if she gets the chance. Meanwhile, a homecoming ceremony that will officially disband Korea's 2016 Olympic national team will be held at Incheon International Airport on Wednesday morning, shortly after the rest of the squad returns from Rio. Hwang Woo-jun, Arirang News.
That concludes our newscast for this hour. Thank you for watching.